Welcome back to From the Scriptwriter's Table. We're talking about music and putting music in audio plays. I am David Lucas, president of Winding Trails Media, and I invite you to come to our website, www.windingtrailsmedia.com, for information on script calls, casting calls, everything we're doing. And today, before we're going to talk about the music. Now, yesterday we started off discussing music and how it works with an audio play. In audio plays, you're always going to hear me constantly, well, at least for a long time anyway, hear me talk about the trio. Sound effects, music, dialogue. We're on music. Yesterday we talked about how to put music into the script, why it's put in there, and some of the ways in which music helps tell the story. Today we're going to go a little further into how music tells a story. And we're going to talk about music as action. It's a really interesting way music works in audio plays. Music can denote something happening that would normally be silent either in film, television, and usually those are the same as far as how I'm using them, or in a novel or short story. There's an action to it, like waving my hand. Hi, I'm waving at you right now. Now you can see that, obviously. Or if I wrote it in a story, David waves hand, or David waved to the audience. That's it. So, okay, audio plays. How do you tell David waved his hand? Yeah, unless you're telling the story, which you don't want to do in the sense of you're telling a story. You want to show, not tell, but audio. We're telling and showing. We talked about that. We'll talk about more later. But you don't want to usually say, David waved his hand at the audience. Okay. You kind of just put your audience to sleep and may have knocked them out of the storyline. Now, I'm being very careful. I'm walking on a very fine razor's edge with this, because you could say David drew his gun, or David pulled back the hammer of the gun, or David ransacked the desk. I write crime fiction as well as science fiction, so that's coming from. But really, what music can do is turn those statements into a visual in the mind through the use of music. Let me take you back to the good old days of Popeye the Sailor Man. Okay. Back in the days when that was actually in a radio play before it became a cartoon, it's been a long time since I've seen the cartoon. Actually, I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid. But if I remember right, in the cartoon, he would pop open this can of spinach, and there would be a music going on as he's downing the spinach. Well, they did that in the radio play. And what they did is they would use music in a way that would show a maelstrom of that food going down his throat. Interesting way to show that. Another thing. Music can be used in fantasy in the way of, let's say you've got a great wizard who is battling a dragon. For the dragon, the dragon's maybe coming in for a landing. It's flapping its wings. It's blowing fire onto the town. Okay, all that can be demonstrated through music. Same with the wizard, maybe aiming his staff or waving his wand. The music can be put in there, so you would have, oh, where's my wand? There it is, and then hang on, I will wave it, or whatever. But use the music to tell it. I'm going to tell you something. Let me move out of radio plays for a moment, and I am going to, if you can find it, and I say that because I've had trouble finding it. I am so happy I've actually got the CD. Look for a piece of music out there called Battle of the Atlantic by Roy Lance and Gavin. This was put out in the early 2000s. And the reason I'm really recommending it to you, not only is this entire Battle of the Atlantic suite, I left off the word suite. Not only is this entire suite telling a story of the Battle of the Atlantic during World War II through the use of music, I want you to find particularly, and I'm trying to remember if it's called The Destroyer on a Submarine or Convoy. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. I can't remember the exact name. But there's one piece in this entire suite that is literally a musical portrayal of a destroyer versus a submarine. They use music for the sonar. They use music for the depth charges. They use music for every aspect of telling that story. Now, that level of use of music is more than what you would want to do in an audio play, but it gives you a darn good idea of what we're talking about here. So with that, I'm going to end this here today. Before you go, tomorrow we are going to talk about music as a commentator. Also, too, please visit, once again, www.windingtrailsmedia.com for information on script calls, casting calls. We are also having web courses for writers, including one that's held once a month, and that is called the Script Writers Table. It's really not a web course, and you're not going to pay anything for it. Participation is limited, but what this is a networking option or opportunity for writers to bring their work, whether that's an audio script or something else, and maybe you're stuck on something or you're looking for ideas on how to move past what you're working on. You've got issues. We all know how it is when we write. This is a chance to have other writers who may or may not even know you as a sounding board and see if they can come up with ideas that get you moving off of perhaps a stop point that you're at right now. Okay. Also, too, please find us on Facebook and on Tumblr. Yes, we're on Twitter. Facebook and Tumblr are our workhorses. We are putting out on those sites radio plays celebrating the golden age of radio to help build the audience for the audio plays you'll write. But the radio plays we're sharing also are perfect examples of everything we're talking about in this video log. And the best way to learn how to write this is to listen to radio plays. Just like best way to write for television scripts or movies is to watch or listen to a bunch of movies. If you don't write books, best way is to write books, is to read a bunch of books and see how the authors are doing it. So this is an opportunity that we're giving you to be able to listen to the craft in which this is geared for. So thank you for listening. Have a great day writing. See you tomorrow.